Alrighty then. Batman versus Superman. Who would have thought that the two most iconic characters, the two most iconic superheroes in the same movie would have been probably one of the most controversial films I have ever seen. It's gonna be hard for me to review this movie to see what kind of movie this is because there were so many good things that happened, but then there were also a lot of bad things. And based on a lot of the reviews I've seen, and there's something nobody's mentioning or something that people can't get it straight. And this is how I feel about this movie. Now, I am a huge Batman fan. By the way, before you go see this movie, I highly suggest you read the Dark Knight Returns comic. This movie, highly inspired by it. Highly inspired. Now, the way I review things, I take, because every movie, every show, or whatever has their own pros and cons. So the way I see it, I take all the cons and I take all the cons and see balance together to get like an overall score. That's what makes this movie so controversial because there were so many good things and then there were so many bad things, and it's so hard to like put them together. Because what makes a good movie good to someone is that they enjoy the pros more than they dislike the cons, and what makes a movie bad to someone is that they hate the cons more than they like the pros. That's why there are different kinds of opinions out there, different kind. That's why there is no such thing as perfect, for reasons like that. All right, but here's what I think with this movie. Um, let me part this thing. Let me put this movie in three parts. We have beginning, middle, ending. Middle. It was a good setup. Good setup, really. When like Bruce Wayne was chasing Superman during the Man of Steel fight, that was a good setup. I like that. Ending. Pretty cool. Epic. Middle. Boring as fuck. It was. It was so slow paced. Some of the scene dragged out. Really. Like, it's not even dark nor greedy, like in a cool way, like the Dark Knight trilogy or Daredevil, the Netflix show. It was dark in a monotone kind of feeling to it. That's how it was. That's how most of Zack Snyder's films are like. And there was also this like dragged out subplot with Lois Lane chasing some kind of bullet. I don't care. I didn't care about that at all. But then things started to pick up in the end. That's when the action started going. By the way, the beginning of this review will be a spoiler-free review. Towards the end, I'll get into spoilers so I can explain myself better. Now, here, the story. The story was decent. The acting was great. The characters, they got it. They nailed their parts. Wonder Woman was great. Batman was great. Batman, Ben Affleck was phenomenal. Probably one of the best Batmans we got so far. Uh, Wonder Woman, based on the small things we've seen of her, she looks promising. She looks promising. Now, what happened? What happened wrong? This movie had a great concept. The characters are good. The execution. This is where this movie went wrong. The execution. Zack Snyder, the director, he's really the one at fault for these bad reviews. Really, everything else is good except for the direction of this film. And look, Zack Snyder, he did not improve one bit since Man of Steel. did not improve one thing. The the directing he did for Man of Steel, he did exactly that in Batman vs Superman. It's exactly the same directing style, exactly the same. No improvement and no fallback. It didn't went up nor down. It's exactly the same as Man of Steel. Now here's the problem, and that's the problem with Zack Snyder. He's so close-minded on his directing style. He only has one direction. To be a good director, you need to have like multiple directions, like figure out ways to direct something in many different kinds of way. That what makes a good director. But if Zack Snyder only has one way of directing, especially in a movie with multiple superheroes, with multiple personalities, different feeling, and different tone to their character, then Zack Snyder's just not gonna do a good job. He's just not gonna bring bring the movie justice like that. And to prove my point even more, during an interview, Zack Snyder was asked why he didn't cast the Flash from the show CW. Why did he cast a different Flash? And this is what he said. This was his response. I just don't think it was a good fit. I'm very strict with this universe, and I just don't see a version where that tone is not of our world. Well, when you think of Flash, what kind of tone do you think? I mean, and here's where this is where Zack failed as a director for this movie. He only likes to direct in one version and only in one way. Most of his films are like that. If you watch his films, you can tell it's the same style, the same direction. And it can only work for so many movies. But it didn't work for this one, no. This whole movie, it just dragged out. It was very slow paced. And it was very in a monotone kind of feeling to it. I feel like this movie would have been a lot better if it was shorter. If this movie was shorter, it would have been a lot better. Now, let's get into the fight. The actual Batman vs Superman fight. The title of this movie. The fight that has been hyped for years. The highlights of the trailers and this movie. Batman vs Superman fight literally was only 5 minutes out of the 2.5 hour of this movie. Now, let's get into the fight. The actual Batman vs Superman fight. The title of this movie. The fight that has been hyped for years. The highlights of the trailers and this movie. Batman vs Superman fight literally was only 5 minutes out of the 2.5 hour of this movie. There is your hype, there is your weight. And don't get me wrong, the fight was sick, dude. The choreography, oof, it was sick, man. It was freaking sick. If you read the Dark Knight comics, you're gonna get a fangasm by watching this fight. Because action-wise, Zack did good. Action-wise, he did a pretty good job with this movie. But everything else was just terrible. Development for the fight wasn't really all that great. And here's why. The reason why Batman vs Superman were supposed to fight were because of differences. It's because they have different sense of justice. So this fight was pretty much supposed to be who's right. Who's the big boss? Who should be the one running things? That's what this fight should have been. But their motives completely changed. It was starting to develop into that. It was starting to. But then somewhere But their motives and that developed got ruined when Lex Luthor kidnapped Superman's mom. And they pull some cliche and he forced him to fight Superman. And because of that, it didn't become a fight because of differences. It became a fight of misunderstanding. And so it made the fight pointless. And it just pointless. And it was the fight was nothing more than fan service. Zack is just a bad director. He's just a bad director. This movie, he had everything going. He had a great concept, decent story, great casting, but Zack just failed. He just failed trying to execute that. Overall, that's where I see this movie. An incredible concept, great acting, just bad directing. Just bad directing. That's the only problem with this movie is just bad directing. And it's because of Zack Snyder's one-directional, close-minded way of directing every single movie he does. But at the end of the day, it's really your opinion. You just this movie is not as bad as critics were saying. It's not as bad as that. It was definitely entertaining. It just had bad execution problems. But the overall film was pretty enjoyable. It's definitely not as good as it was hyped up to be. So that's why the fan base of this movie is split in half. Because it's so many good things and then there were so many bad things. So at the end of the day, with this movie, I have no idea how to rate it. I say, because I don't know how to balance this. There's just too many content pearls to it. So at the end of the day, you decide. Don't let anyone change your opinion. Go see this movie. If you like it, you like it. Alright? If you like it, you'll be half of the people who like it. If you don't like it, you'll be the other half of the people who don't like it. It's a 50-50 chance, the way I see it. For me, I'm kind of cut in the middle, man. I have no idea to decide about this. All I can say is, if Warner Brothers wants to continue their DC universe, hire a new director. Zack is just not gonna work. Alright? If he's not willing to change or improve, then guess what? You'll be seeing the same reviews every time. With Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and then the upcoming movies he directs. So, there it is. It's very controversial. That's all I can say for you guys. It's very controversial. If you go see this movie, then there'll be a 50-50 chance you'll like it or not. Cause everything is split in half now. You'll either be half of the people who like it or half of the people who don't like it. That's up to you. I'm in the middle. I'll probably go see it twice. It's just expect to see Man of Steel, but with Batman and Wonder Woman. Expect to see Man of Steel again. If you like Man of Steel, you're more than likely going to like this movie. If you don't like Man of Steel, then you're more than likely not going to like this movie. And that's the way I see it. Alright, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching my review. And I'm planning on uploading more reviews.